Hey, what's going on, guys? Bluna here. Welcome back to the channel. This is my Fallout 76 review. This is just kind of my honest thoughts about the game, what Bethesda got right about it, what needed tweaking for the game, and what was completely and utterly unacceptable on Bethesda's part of Fallout 76's initial launch. Some of the stuff that I talk about in this review is kind of outdated in a way that some of it has been patched over, but I want to focus on the game at launch, the way we got it, when we got it, day one. This was Fallout 76 when it launched, essentially. So I'll probably wind up making a follow-up video to this one. Let me know if that's something you guys want to see down in the comments below. And yeah, let's get into this review of Fallout 76, shall we?
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is all there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like the breeze. Country roads, take me home.
Fallout 76 is an utter train wreck, but instead of focusing on the minor immersion-breaking issues, let's focus on what was done right, what needs tweaking, and what was utterly unacceptable about this game. So, what did 76 get right? The perk system. The new perk-based leveling system is a fresh twist on the old leveling systems. It gives the game a fresh feel. The scale of the world is somewhat impressive in that it's smaller than Skyrim, but larger than Fallout 4. There's a lot in the world, but again, because it is a co-op and there's no human NPCs, it can kind of feel empty, so that is another thing to kind of factor in. There's a decent amount of story in this game. Unfortunately, it's all in the form of terminals and holotapes.
Congratulations, dear. I'm sorry I can't be with you today, but I'm sure the other girls can walk you through your vows. Things have been difficult for us of late. In 8 years, we only lost one member of our family. In the past 3 months, we've lost 7, all to raider ambushes. I've asked Eve to accelerate our training program. If the worst should happen, we need everyone to be ready. In order to become a full member of the Order, you will need to master the tools of the Mistress of Mystery: sword, shot, and shadow. Work with Eve and your mentor. When the time comes to prove yourself, Kryptos has the details.
So if that's something you enjoy, then this game isn't a bad pick for you. The new weapons have given new light into the possibilities of character builds. Whether you like mowing your enemies down with an LMG with a stupid high rate of fire, punching your enemies to death with a spiked tambourine, or dispatching your enemies from range with a musket, Fallout 76 definitely has an option for you. Workshops are a nice touch to be able to passively generate you resources. The workshop can also be claimed from another player, thus adding a point to the PvP. Being able to set up your own camp is pretty great, allowing for farming of adhesive with crops as well as water, level permitting. It's also fun if you enjoyed the old building systems of Fallout 4. The addition of nukes adds a bit of evolution to the game, which is awesome in a co-op Fallout, and really just awesome in a Fallout in general. The addition of co-op is also probably the biggest selling point of the game. This is something wanted from the community for some time, and 76 is a great starting point for this. This brings us to our next point. What needs adjustment about 76? Where do we start? The stash box allows for 400 pounds of inventory. However, a recent patch has come up that changes that to 600, which some would call a step in the right direction, albeit just not enough. When the core of the game is so focused on resources, it's important your servers be able to facilitate said resources. Camps are nice, but the area of which you can build is quite inconsistent. There's plenty of areas you should be able to set up, as well as areas that should be completely off limits. For example, There is a legendary spawn area you can set up in, plop down some turrets, and just continuously farm high-level weapons and armor. Back to the perk system. Once you hit level 50, you can no longer assign perk points to your special tree, which is genuinely awful if you misclick and put said points in the wrong area, or just want to respec in general. You're shit out of luck and need to restart a new character. The AI of the game is incredibly buggy. Whether it be frozen character models, clipping, or just flat out unable to move, Fallout 76's enemies need a ton of work to rival that of older Fallout releases. For some reason, you can't sell ammunition to in-game vendors, which makes zero sense for the in-game economy. Speaking of vendors, the in-game robot vendors have a stagnant 200 caps to use for trading, and it takes 24 real-world hours for that inventory to reset. Have fun server hopping. Vendors' inventory should be universal, but the caps they use should be unique per player, thus not stagnating player economy progression. The servers themselves should be able to be viewed, so players can have an easier time teaming with their friends instead of having to continuously jump around and waste their time trying to find a server with room for everyone. The endgame needs tweaking due to the final boss level scaling to the player that summoned it, thus making a fight with an enemy with 1 million health into a fight with a boss with 500 million health. This brings us into what was unacceptable at Fallout 76, starting with the endgame, or should I say the lack thereof. The game gets boring after about 30 to 40 hours. It's an utter grind. It literally becomes a grind to see how quickly you can get godly power armor, weapons, and access to the nuke codes. The fucking nuke codes. We were told the nuke codes would be random drops on bodies of certain scorched NPC in random containers. While this is true, you can find the nuke codes within an hour or two of the reset with a quick Google search. What the fuck? The hours of grinding for absolutely nothing. And the glitches. We could do an entire video talking about the bugs in this game, so for the sake of time and sanity, let's talk about the most important. My personal favorite is the unlimited weight glitch. You heard me correctly, a game that restricts the hell out of your inventory has a bug that allows you to have unlimited carry weight. Yikes. Those server disconnects seem a little more suspect now due to the fact that everyone is walking around with 10,000 frag grenades. Speaking of which, another bug involving those grenades allows you to continuously farm a grenade bouquet for 83 XP and free splody dodes. Again, yikes. Unfortunately, you can't even use those grenades half the time due to a no damage bug. In my personal experience, grenades never worked. The same bug also applied to ranged weapons. It was completely random and it wouldn't allow you to hurt any NPC or player with that specific weapon. Moving on to the crafting, the game expects you to move into power armor as soon as possible. As a result, the crafting, or should I say, the repairing, makes zero sense. Ballistic fiber, a hard to find crafting material for clothing, is required to repair level 20 and up leather armor regardless of the modifications, yet doesn't require it when you craft the base of the armor. The fuck? The story is impossible to follow with the group involved, due to the fact that if you want to enjoy it in the slightest, you need to have a team. By having a team, the story becomes, again, impossible to follow due to the people screaming nonstop in your ear.
Oh my
Congratulations,
God.
dear.
This fucking head
I'm sorry I can't be with
is
you today,
amazing.
but I'm sure
Ah!
someone else can walk you through your vows.
Oh, yes, yes.
Things have been difficult for us of late.
God.
So if you want to follow it, you have to play solo, which is thoroughly a miserable experience. But it doesn't have to be, just add the fucking NPCs into the game. There are moments where the holotapes spawn 5 minutes after you finish part of a quest. Like, why would you go through all this trouble instead of just saying it to my face? And, leaving these stupid holotapes for me to listen to and read. The launch of this game was full of lies and deceit. Todd Howard twisted his words in ways that made the game look like something it wasn't. He straight up told us when Fallout 76 was being announced at the Bethesda E3 conference or whatever it was, we can play the game solo. And everyone was like, okay, that's awesome. We don't have to play with a team. We don't have to play with friends. We can be in a world all by ourselves. And that was not the case. The case was you can play it by yourself with 23 other people on the server with you. And whether or not you interact with them is up to you and the other players. So, again, fancy wordplay. Adding to this, the $200 edition of the game was supposed to include a very nice duffel bag. What those people got was a shitty nylon trash bag. Regardless of the cost of that bag, you're not doing yourselves any favors by blatantly telling people you're going to do absolutely nothing about this issue, and giving players $5 worth of in-game currency is frankly insulting. In the fucking Atomic Shop, why would anyone in their right mind paywall aesthetic items at launch in a game people loved because of the lack of this kind of shit? Need I remind you of Evolved? In closing, I give this game a 4 out of 10. There's a potentially amazing experience hidden under all the bullshit. It really can be fun at times, even when I'm just filming, not even, for live streams or anything, wandering around the world and killing stuff. I'm not miserable. I'm enjoying it. It's still like the core of the game is fun. It really is. Like, there is so much potential with this game. But whether it be getting into crazy fights with other players or seeing your first nuke drop, Fallout 76 can be a beautiful, fulfilling, and frankly hilarious experience. Bethesda is better than this. They've proven it time and time again, but I worry they're moving in a direction that's going to make them the next EA or Activision, a publisher that stifles development and hinders creativity with greedy practices and rush release dates and is too cowardly to show their face to the public while the dev teams take all the flack. Don't be EA, don't be Activision, be Bethesda. Be the Bethesda we've come to know all these years. Fallout 76 can be the magnum opus of gaming comebacks, or it can be another Brink. The ball's in your court, Bethesda. Don't mess it up. So that is our Fallout 76 review, what they did right, what needs work, and what was utterly just shit about this game. I'm more than likely going to wind up doing a follow-up to this, just kind of talking about what did get tweaked, because again, I wrote the script for this review before a lot of these patches happened. So, and when I was writing this, hardly any of this stuff had come to fruition, but especially in the area where we kind of talked about what needs tweaking, there were a number of changes made to Fallout 76. So in our follow-up video, I will address those changes and give props where props is due. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to tune in for my next Fallout 76 video, and I will see you guys next time. Blue New out. Peace.